Magnus Carlsen plays a nice little tactics in this match against Liviu-Dieter. Magnus is playing with the white pieces here, and Liviu-Dieter is playing with the black pieces here. It's the Queen's Gambit setup that is being played right now, and it's a Queen's Gambit accepted variation where the pawn is captured here, and e3 is played by Magnus, trying to recapture this Gambit pawn, developing the light square bishop. So knight to f6 is played by black. Bishop captures the c4 pawn, and e6 is played by black now, allowing the dark square bishop to get activated. And after that, knight to f3 by Magnus, and c5 is played now, hitting the pawn structures here in the center. Magnus just ignores that and goes for the castling on the king side. So pawn push to a6 is played, allowing the pushing of pawn to b5, hitting this nicely placed bishop. So so after that, d into c5 is played, and bishop captures the c5 pawn. So both these bishops are right now developed, and this allows the queen trade to happen because it opens up the queen. So the king is forced to capture, displacing the queen and exposing the king at the same time. So bishop to e2 is now played here, retrieving the bishop here, and after that, king goes to e7 now into a safer square, allowing the movement of the rooks and development of the other pieces as well. So knight to d2 by Magnus, and bishop to d7 is played by black, and knight goes to b3 here, attacking this dark square bishop. Right. So bishop goes to d6 now, keeping the bishop safe here, and after that, knight to a5 is played here, so attacking the pawn here on b7, and after that, rook comes here to a7, quite an awkward square, protecting this pawn here, although the rook is on the 7th rank. So knight now goes to c4 by Magnus, keeping the attack on this dark square bishop. So bishop goes to b5 is played now, attacking this particular knight and creating an extra attack on this bishop. So if you capture, you can just capture back here basically. So pawn is pushed to b3 here, protecting the knight here. So in case of a capture, you can capture back with the bishop, and b5 could be played basically after that. So the rook to d8 by black is played, and bishop to b2 is now played here. So fianchetting this bishop here and allowing the making it a quite an active piece and threatening a lot of squares of the black here. So bishop captures the knight here on c4, and bishop captures back, and now both these bishops are eyeing at the very active control a lot of space on the board here. So knight to c6 is played here, bringing the knight last piece, developing the knight and bringing it into the game here, and rook to d1 is played by Magnus now. So rook drop backs to a8, and pawn push to h3 creates this nice little escape square for Magnus's king, and pawn push to g6 is played by black here. So g4 is played in response, pushing the pawn on the king side of the board, Magnus, and h6 is played in response, not allowing this pawn to be pushed here and to displacing the knight here, because you can just bring the bishop here with a nice little support even here, and this rook will be gone as well. So bishop comes back to f1 here, clearing up this c file and also protecting the backward pawn over here, and a rook to c8 is played now, bringing up the other rook into the game and trying to get control of the c file as well. So Magnus brings his own rook to c1, and knight to d5 is played by black, and pawn push to h4 is again played, now pushing the pawns on the king side, Magnus. So king goes to e8 is played by black, and g5 is played now. Continue pushing the pawns here, and after the h pawn, it captures the d5 pawn, the h pawn captures back, and bishop to e7 is played here, attacking this pawn here, which is supported fully by the knight. Now king comes up the board to g2, and knight to b6 is played here, and bishop to d3 is played now. So knight b4 is played, bringing the knight into a more active square here into the white camp, and also attacking this bishop here, so and attacking the pawn here on a2 at the same time. So Magnus brings his bishop to e4 here, ignoring the attack of the over here, and here knight captures this a2 pawn is made here, which is a mistake. The best move was to go for the capture of the exchange of the rooks here, and once the rooks are exchanged, you could even go for the capture of the pawn. But this allows Magnus to go for the capture of the rook and do the exchange himself. And once the king captures the rook back, the rook goes to h1 here, and after that knight to d5 is played, and a knight jumps to e5 by Magnus here, hitting this backward pawn. And after that f5 is played uh, by black now, trying to get rid of that pawn here. So instead, Magnus go for the capture of this particular uh, knight with his bishop, and once the pawn is captured back, rook places the check like this. So king will come to c7, and this bishop will be pinned, so it needs to be protected. So king again goes to d8, and bishop to d4 will be played now. So after that, knight will come to c1, and this pawn will be captured back, and these pawns are exchanged. Once the check happens like this, king will go here to e8, and after the rook check, the king got to come here to protect the rook here, and this knight check basically cannot go back here because of the bishop here. So after the king goes to e6, this rook to c8 move, the rook will be captured by the rook here with an attack on the knight here, and after knight captures this b3 pawn, basically Magnus can just move this knight and he's winning. Yes, he's already up by a piece in this game. So that's the game, quite a brilliant game by Magnus. So this was the continuation, so that would happen. So because of that, the game ended quite early once Magnus captured this particular knight with his bishop, because this was continuation that was going to happen, and opponent black Liviu-Dieter resigned the game, and Magnus won the match.